What is going on, Pats Nation, and welcome back into another episode here on Patriots Global. As always, I am your host, Colby Cochran. Really appreciate you guys for rocking with me on this beautiful, beautiful Friday night. Right now, for me, it's a little bit later. It's about 9:50, so, winding down a little bit. Sometimes I get hesitant to go live this late, but you guys have told me in the past, you're like, dude, I'm like 3 hours behind you, so you going live later really doesn't matter. But by the time you guys can tell, I'm going to be hitting you with another mock draft. You guys have loved these as of late. Each mock draft, I do try to do something a little bit different. By this title, you can tell we're going to address the potential on what if the Patriots trade into the end of the first round to make multiple selections on day one. This is not unrealistic, right? The Patriots have a high second round pick, but they also have 2 third-round picks. They have the draft capital to get back into the first round, mid-late 20s to early 30s if they really want to. They did explore that possibility last year. It was rumored that they tried to trade up into, I forget what pick it was. I think it was like 28, something like that. It was whatever pick the Buffalo Bills had last year. And the Patriots were rumored to try to trade back in to get wide receiver Xavier Legette. Ultimately, they made that trade with, I want to say it was the Carolina Panthers. Legette doesn't go to the Patriots. He ultimately ends up going to the Carolina Panthers, and Patriots end up taking Jalen Polk. So we know that they're not afraid to trade back into the first round if there is a player that they feel is worth. If you guys want to check out my other 2 mock drafts, make sure you do so. They are here on the channel. I'll make sure to have them linked in either the description box or pinned in the comment section below. We did one with no trades, but we also did one with trades also, where the philosophy was going best player available. But the best way to start off a mock draft is to run that Patriots Global intro. So let's get into it. A quick little shout out too to everybody who's in the chat already. I appreciate all of you. Big shout out to, okay, we gotta get the guys in here first. Shout out to Colin. He was the first one in here today. He says, hi. What's up, Colin? What's up, Connor? What's up, Red Sox? What's up, Captain Rex? What's going on, Ashton, Trey, Cobra? We got Brooke up in the chat. We got Tay in here. Appreciate everybody for being here. Let's go ahead and let's get into this. Before we do that, though, real quick, I do want to give a big shout out to all of those who have become a member of the channel. Right now, if you guys go, you hit the join button. It's either next to the subscribe button, or if you hit my profile, go to the homepage, it'll be there. You hit join, you can become a member. And right now we have, I want to say about 6 members. I think we have right now. McGoat, Luke, Aaron, Gerald, Trey, and Luz Marina, all members of the channel, part of the Patriots Global family. Appreciate it so much. If you guys want to get exclusive benefits, support the channel, only $4 a month, consider becoming a member of the channel. You'll also get access to exclusive emojis, and you'll get the official Patriots Global logo next to your name each and every single time that you comment on live streams, videos, shorts, community posts, all that good stuff. But let's go ahead and let's just start running up this mock draft. We'll just hit the start button here. Actually, it still says loading. Not 100% sure. Let's see. Maybe if I go back real quick, we're gonna go here. It still says loading for some reason. I don't know. Sometimes PFF can be a little bit wonky. So hopefully they're not being wonky this time. Let me bring it up. This is where having a co-host would be the best, right? Because you have a co-host, and if something goes wrong, you're like, hey, while I fix this, you just talk a little bit, huh? But we don't have that. So let's try this one more time. We're going to turn all the way down because we're going to look to trade up. We're going to do a 7-rounder. All right. Okay, now it looks good. I'm not sure what happened there, but I think we're good now. Had this all ready too, and then it just totally messed it up. See, guys, I try to be perfect, and PFF, they don't allow that. They don't allow that. Let's just hit start. Let's see how the board starts to go here. Abdul Carter goes 1. Oh, Travis Hunter goes 2. Will Campbell goes... Okay, now I feel like we have to restart this. We're going to restart this. Don't get on me, guys. Don't get on me, okay? We're restarting this because that's just not happening. I'm sorry, but that's not happening. There's just no way. I like to make my mock draft as realistic as possible, and that just doesn't make sense. Cam Ward is going first overall. I promise you that. He's not falling to number 4. All right, let's try this again. Okay. Wow, that was annoying. All right, let me pull this back up here for you guys. All right, let's try this again. If they're going to do something that stupid straight off the bat, I don't trust them. Oh, is this same thing going to happen? Okay, this is a little more realistic. Okay, this is, okay. This is a little bit more realistic. I don't think that, I don't think this is what's going to happen in my own personal opinion, but this isn't totally unrealistic. So Abdul Carter goes number 1. There is some rumblings that he could still go to Tennessee. Ultimately, I think that Tennessee will go with Cam Ward. I think at this point, based off the rumors, if any player is going to fall between, Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, and Travis Hunter, I actually think that it's going to be Abdul Carter, just based off of what we're hearing as of late, what's come out about some of his injury concerns, which there's no concerns. From what's been reported, he's perfectly fine. He just got checked out. Like, there really is no medical concerns, but sometimes that scares teams off a little bit. Even when it's found out that there is nothing, sometimes you're like, but what if? So I could see him falling because of that. Also, there's some reported character concerns. The same thing happened with Micah Parsons. The year that Micah Parsons came out, like, he was the guy. He was the guy when it came to edge rusher, but he fell because of some of those reported concerns. So I think if anybody is going to fall, it is going to be Abdul Carter, but there is still that real possibility that he could go to the Tennessee Titans. I have him as my number 1 player in this draft. I think that he is the guy. I think he is the blue chip player in my own personal opinion. But if Cam Ward does fall there to 2, that'll make a ton of sense for the Cleveland Browns to go there. They have been reported to want a quarterback. And then Mason Graham at 3. There's been a lot of reports about Mason Graham to the Giants. I think you just fire everybody. Like, if the Giants make that move and you're the Giants or just ownership, like, you got to fire everybody at that point. Just throw away 2025, get a new coaching staff in there immediately, and just can it. But you never know. Maybe that is the direction they go. I just personally don't see it, which means the Patriots have Travis Hunter on the board. Now, realistically, what I think happens is Will Campbell is going to the Patriots. If I had to put money on it right now, like the player that the Patriots take in the first round, I would say that it's ultimately going to be Will Campbell. The Patriots understand that their number 1 need is for tackle, especially the offensive line. If the Patriots want any production when it comes to offense, everything starts with blocking up front. Everything starts with the offensive line. If you want a good running game, say it with me, friends. Where do you have to go? You have to have a good offensive line. If you want, to protect your quarterback, you want to get your return on investment in the passing game, you want big splash plays down the field, that takes time to develop. With that being said, you need time. What gives you time? Good blocking. So if you had to ask me, I do think that the pick is Will Campbell. I believe we've selected Will Campbell in the past, though, so I don't want to select him again here. So I'm going to go with Travis Hunter, okay? Sometimes crazy things happen in the draft. Travis Hunter right now in this pre-draft process, I think he's been the most impressive. Right now, still my number 1 player overall when it comes to a talent standpoint, who's my personal blue chip player, it is Abdul Carter. But you can see during this pre-draft process why Travis Hunter is as high on boards as he is. He obviously gives that versatility at cornerback. He gives that versatility at wide receiver. He is just a football junkie. Like, that's what he is. He is a true nerd of the game. He loves to be around football as much as possible. He likes to play video games. When he's playing video games, he's not pulling a Kyler Murray. He's not out here playing Call of Duty. This guy's not playing Fortnite, not emoting on you when he kills you, right? Can I say that on YouTube? Hopefully I don't get demonetized now. But my point being is that he's playing Madden, right? So even when he's playing video games, it's still related back to football. He's always in meetings. He's always in, the meetings with the quarterbacks, with the wide receivers, on the defensive side of the football. He just wants to learn. He's a true student of the game. I'm not as high on Travis Hunter as some people are, as really a lot of people are, but I've fallen more in love with him, and I've come around to being okay if they took him just because of how much of a student of the game he is. He always wants to get better, and that is a side of football that you cannot teach. You cannot make a player want to be in the building on his days off. You cannot make him want to do that extracurricular activity, and that's exactly what Travis Hunter is willing to do. And I think that's something that's going to pay off. So Go best player available here. I think, Travis Hunter's on the board based off of how the board has fallen. Even if Will Campbell is there, I think they'd have a real tough decision on their hand, and they would ultimately go with somebody like Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is going to give them some speed. He's more of a slot receiver, but he can also play on the outside. One of the more impressive things about Travis Hunter to me is the contested catches he can make. In fact, I want to pull up his contested catch rate. They don't give it to me. Actually, that's crazy. So as you can see, they're giving you his numbers as a cornerback. If the Patriots draft him, it has to be as a wide receiver. Now, I've been someone who has said I do believe that at the next level, Travis Hunter is going to be a better cornerback than he is a wide receiver. But if the Patriots draft him, they don't need a wide receiver 1. They don't need a wide receiver 2. You're not drafting a guy at 4th overall to be your cornerback. Excuse me. They have a cornerback 1 to cornerback 2. You're not drafting Travis Hunter to be your cornerback 3, definitely at number 4. But he'll give you some packages on the defensive side of the football. If Gonzo was to get hurt, if Carlton Davis was to get hurt, you feel very confident that you would have a guy who could step up in Travis Hunter on that side of the football. But like I said, what impresses me most about Travis Hunter is that, despite his size, he's 6 foot, 6'1", 185 pounds. He's not a big guy. Again, most people expect him to be more of a slot receiver in the NFL on the offensive side of the football. But he's not just a guy that goes fast. He does not just have speed. He doesn't get open just purely because of his speed, but he runs a really good route tree. He can run almost every route there is in the NFL. And the contested catches he can make, I think, is very, very impressive. I mean, we're talking about having that big outside contested catch X guy, Jaden Higgins, Ted Aroa, McMillan. The contested catches that Travis Hunter can make, in a tight window with a guy on the back of his heels is absolutely absurd for a guy who I think is still very raw at wide receiver. And that's where my concerns come, is that with Travis Hunter, there is that developmental side, more specifically on the offensive side of the football where the Patriots would be getting him. I have concerns about the Patriots' ability to draft wide receivers and develop those guys. It doesn't matter if it was Bill Belichick. It didn't matter if it was Gerard Mayo. It didn't matter who the wide receivers coach was, who was in the front office. The Patriots can just never draft and develop wide receivers. And so that scares me a little bit here with Travis Hunter. But you have faith. You have faith that Mike Vrabel knows what he's doing, that the Patriots can get the best out of a guy that has some pure raw talent. So we're going to go Travis Hunter here. And then, like I said, we are going to try to trade back in here to the first round. So Travis Hunter at 4. Wow, Will Campbell goes at 5. Ted goes at 6. Tyler Warren goes at 7. Honestly, this is pretty realistic for the most part so far. Jahdae Barron, the first cornerback off the board, goes to the Saints. Realistic. Membo to the Niners makes a ton of sense. Matthew Golden to the Cowboys makes a ton of sense. Wow, all of these moves so far have actually been pretty realistic. I don't love Will Johnson to the Dolphins, but that is a need. I think they should go offensive line. Josh Simmons off the board at 17 already. So one thing I want to say is something that I'm noticing based off of how this board is falling so far. Actually, I want to make sure I zoom in real quick so you guys get a better look. I think this is a little bit too zoomed out. Let me zoom in a little bit. But what I'm seeing with this board so far is that offensive linemen are flying off. So we have Will Campbell. He goes to pick after to the Jags. That's one guy off the board. Then you had Armand Membu off the board. Now you have Josh Simmons off the board, and we're not even into the 20s. This is why you should not expect Ariante Ursary or Josh Conerly to be there in the second round. Is there a chance that one of those guys is there? 100%. But how many tackles went in the first round last year? And you're seeing that when one tackle is taken off the board, all of those guys start flying off the board. Why? Because teams believe in the exact philosophy that I've been telling you guys for so long. And that is the fact that, tackle is just as valuable as the quarterback position, as the wide receiver position. And teams understand that if you want to get any production on the offensive side of the football, you have to have good blocking up front. It doesn't matter what you run from a schematic standpoint offensively, whether you want to be the Ravens and run the ball a billion times a game, or whether you want to be Patrick Mahomes and pass the ball a billion times a game, you have to have a good O-line. Some of the best teams that are contending year after year, they have some of the best trenches, including the best offensive line. I don't think that it's a coincidence that the teams who have the best offensive line just so happen to have some of the best offenses in the league too. And I think, as you can see, teams are very much prioritizing offensive line, especially at tackle. So I don't want to trade up this far. Jalen Walker goes, makes a ton of sense. Oh, no. Okay, so I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So Donovan Ezaraku was one of the guys that I was considering out of Boston College. Now, the only way that I was going to draft an edge rusher in the first was either Abdul Carter, or if I either traded down or traded back into the first round, then I would have selected an edge rusher. But the Patriots, either with their first pick or their second pick, they have to go offensive tackle. That is the biggest need for this team right now. It's even bigger after signing Stephon Diggs. It was their biggest need last year, and they really haven't addressed this need, and they can't go another year without doing that. But man, oh man, if we got like Will Campbell at number 4 and we traded back in and Donovan Ezaraku was still there, this would have been a me guy. I mean, Donovan Ezaraku, edge rusher out of Boston College, you keep him at home, you keep him in Boston, man. You know Mike Vrabel has connections back with the Teapot, so he has that inside information on Ezaraku. But a guy that, you know, some say slightly undersized, but his toolbox that he has, not just as a pass rusher, but as a run stopper, and more specifically, his football IQ, like this is a guy that has literally like the toolbox that you would want from a physicality standpoint, from a mental standpoint, a guy who's going to be the first one off the field, the last one off the field from a defensive standpoint. Man, Donovan Ezaraku, man, let me tell you, we're not drafting him today, but that's a guy to watch. That's a guy to watch. I think that'd be a Mike Vrabel guy. All right, let's see. Walter Nolan goes at 22. Emeka Egbuka goes at 24. I want to be smart here. I feel like we'd probably have to trade here at 24. Because I feel like at 25, because did Gray Zabel go? I don't think Gray Zabel went. So maybe Gray Zabel would go there. But I would worry that the Houston Texans would also snag an offensive tackle. That's like the glaring need right now, really all over their O-line, but more specifically at tackle. The Houston Texans do have some concerns more specifically for the future. So let's see if we can trade in here at 24 and get our pick between Ariante Ursery and Josh Conerly. So let's go 24. 24 just feels a little bit too high. Honestly, I'm going to let this run because I don't think let's try to trade in at 26. I just think trading into 24 is a little bit too high. The value the Patriots will have to give up. I'd be more interested to let's trade at 26. And even if they take Ariante Ursery or Josh Conerly, we'll still be left with one of those guys here at 26. So let's wait at 26. And maybe we even get both of them. You never know. Colston Loveland. Whoa. Okay, so I would have went O-line if I'm Houston, but they decided to go Colston Loveland. So let's just stay here at 26 and let's try to trade in. I think the Rams would be a team that would make sense to trade down also. They try to get, some more draft picks there. So we would give them 30. So we would get 26. They would get 38. And could we get away with 77? Oh, shoot, we could get away. Oh, maybe we won't even have to give up. Could we give up 106? Ooh, so we could give up 106, but here's the thing is I don't think the Patriots will want to go from 77 to 104. So, it might make more sense to get rid of one of these thirds and then get something else on top of it. Could you give me two? Maybe we get, actually, I don't think it selected it. So we could get 201, but could we get 190? Oh, we could get 190. Can I be greedy and get 127? Wow, we could get 127. This is... Ooh. Okay, so they really want that third round pick from Atlanta that we got in return for Matthew Judon. I don't mind this because realistically, too, the Patriots, they're not trading down too much here. Now that obviously that fifth-year option is going to be very valuable, and you kind of have to overpay for that. That's why you have to overpay, when you're trading back into the first round, even if it's the final pick in the first round. But the Patriots would be giving up 38 and 77, so that is round 2, and then that would be their second, third round pick, and in return, they're getting 26 to make their second pick in the first round and getting 101. So I believe that's a third round pick. So I don't hate that. Let's offer it. That's crazy. It's a 70% chance. And they said no. Okay. I think they'll give us 127. I feel good about that. I don't mind 127. Okay, so we're back on the board. See, when that offer was presented to itself, I did say to myself, okay, you know what? I don't know if this is going to happen in real life. That might be a little bit too good to be true. And it was a little bit too good to be true. PFF said it would give us about a 70% chance to be accepted. And they immediately hung up that phone and said, yeah, dude, that's not happening. So forget that. But you know what? The Patriots, they do still have a few picks here. So we did lose our second rounder, but we still got 69, 106, 127, and 144. They'll probably would like to close that gap between 26 and 69, though. But we'll see how the board falls. So let's see. Gray Zabel is another option for the Patriots, but tackle is a bigger need. So we're just going to address offensive tackle. But Gray Zabel is a guy I like. Zabel was easily the best offensive lineman at the Senior Bowl, played interior offensive line. He played guard and center, so would give the Patriots their future at center, would give the Patriots a starting left guard, but he also does have experience playing tackle at the collegiate level. So, I mean, Gray Zabel is a guy that you can plug literally anywhere on the offensive line, and you feel pretty confident about where you're at. Such a chess piece, which is why he's going to be a first-round pick. But, okay, so I'm not as big on Donovan Jackson as some people. He's more projected to be an interior lineman. It's not that I don't like him. I just don't necessarily like him as much at tackle. We got Josh Conerly. We got Ariante Ursary. I like Ursary a little bit more, me personally. I do think that he's more plug and play. He is developing more as a pass blocker. He's significantly better as a run blocker. That's why some people try to say, hey, draft Ariante Ursary, make him your right tackle, because he is somebody who is still putting it together, still putting his toolbox together as a pass blocker. But when he, where he excels again is as that run blocker, which in this system, it's exactly what you would want from your future right tackle. But I don't think he's bad. It's not that he can't hold his own. It's just that he's not above average, right? He's not elite at pass protection. He's just average. He's still raw a little bit. He's still developing there. But we've drafted Ursary before. I don't want to keep repeating myself. So we're going to go with somebody like Josh Conerly. Josh Conerly, for the most part, has been a highly sought-upon tackle in this pre-draft process. Wasn't bad during the Senior Bowl. I wasn't as impressed with him as I was hoping I was going to be. He did have one really, really bad rep against Mike Green, who went earlier in the first round, to where Mike Green, people think of him as a speed rusher, but on that rep and really later on into the Senior Bowl, we saw that he was able to start turning his speed rushing into speed to power and just killed Josh Conerly on that one-on-one rep. Immediately just shoves him back, and Josh Conerly trips over himself. Doesn't look like he was expecting it, but Josh Conerly, I mean, you feel pretty good about him being your starting left tackle. I forget who it was, but there's a former offensive lineman who now has a podcast, and he said that Josh Conerly, to him, is the number one tackle in this class. Now, that's just his opinion. Maybe he prefers his type of playing style over some of these other guys, but when a former NFL player who played at the same position, played on the offensive line, comes out and says that Josh Conerly is his number one tackle in this class, that's something you listen to. That's something you put in play a little bit. So we're going to switch it up, and at 26, we go Josh Conerly. In most mocks I've seen, Ursary was the guy that fell a little bit. So again, I do think value-wise, Conerly would ultimately more likely go before Ursary. So that's what we're going to pick here. Switch it up a little bit, but Josh Conerly, 6'4", 315 pounds. I believe he's only a left tackle. So he primarily did play left tackle, but he's had some reps in game too, which is very, very important. I don't care about what you cross-train in practice. I care about wherever you actually practice live reps in actual games. And he's played some reps at left guard. He's played some reps at left guard, right guard, and at right tackle. So a guy that, has some experience all over the offensive line. His quarterback too, Dylan Gabriel, I'm not very high on him. Dylan Gabriel's like a mid-round draft pick at best in a very bad draft class. So I think part of Josh Conerly's issues too is that he didn't exactly have a great quarterback. Now, the competition level wasn't, necessarily the highest, but he's also going to have a better quarterback who you hope gets the ball out quicker, who's going to be more athletic than Dylan Gabriel also, which I think will help out somebody like Josh Conerly and make his game look a little bit better too. So that's where we're going to go. We are going to pause it when we get to the second round and just kind of recap where we're at. I think we can just speed it up a little bit, right? Yeah, we can just speed it up a tad. All right, so let's just go ahead. Let's go back and let's take a look what the Patriots have done. Let's see how the remainder of the first round went before we continue, and then we'll decide what we're going to do on the board next. Now, I know that we have some super chats, so before we continue on, I do want to get into these super chats. You guys are being very, very generous, as always. Appreciate you guys very, very, very much for donating. The best way to support the channel, one of the best ways to support the channel, other than subscribing, liking, and sharing the video, of course, is to leave a super chat. If you guys have a question, comment, concern that you want to guarantee gets thrown up there on the screen for everybody to see, and I'm forced to read it out loud and answer it, then donation is the best way to do so. McGoat comes in with a $2 donation and says, don't forget to leave a like, guys. Shout out to the member, by the way. McGoat, I'm just saying that Patriots Global logo looks absolutely beautiful next to your name. Thank you for joining the Patriots Global family tier, officially a part of the family too now, McGoat. So my boy, yeah, like he says, don't forget to leave a like, guys. It's free, helps the channel out tremendously. My boy Felipe comes in here with a $2 donation, and he says, swap first with the Saints for Olave in a deal. Where are the Saints again? Are the Saints like 11? I want to say the Saints. Am I lying about that? Oh, no, they're 9. So the Patriots would move from 4 to 9 to get Olave. I don't know. I still personally wouldn't do that. I know everybody wants like Chris Olave like so bad, but me personally, like he's a good player. I'm not as high on him as some people are, and his injury concerns, like, they worry me, man. He's had how many concussions just over the last couple of years? Concussions can really derail a guy's career. I mean, you look at Antonio Brown, that guy went bad shit crazy because of the amount of concussions he got. That poor guy got so much CTE up in him because all those hits he was taking from Vontaze Burfict back in the day that kind of made him go a little bit crazy. So me personally, I would pass on Olave. But hey, there was a tweet. Somebody like asked Greg Bedard. They said, hey, you keep throwing out this idea that the Patriots could potentially have like a big blockbuster trade coming. Do you actually know something? Or are you just throwing that idea out there? And he responded to the comment and he said, just 2 words. He said, I know. So it sounds like, who knows? I'm not reporting anything. I'm just saying what's been said around the media. Okay. So Greg, if you're watching this, don't get mad at me. These are your words, not mine. But all I'm saying is, who knows? Maybe draft day something crazy happens, right? Like, what if the Patriots trade down from 4 and then the Philadelphia Eagles end up trading A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots? How crazy would that be? Because there have been some rumblings. Now, nothing from like Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, anything too official, but there have been some rumblings that maybe the Philadelphia Eagles could make a couple of trades. So I don't know. A.J. Brown just got a signed Tom Brady jersey. He's always wanted to be a Patriot. Braid him on. Maybe it's a pipe dream, but braid him on, man. Braid him on. A.J. Brown over Chris Olave any day. Any day. Trey comes in here with a $5 donation. Shout out to Trey, also a member of the Patriots Global tier, the Patriots PG family tier. And he says, please no Gray Zabel, even shorter arms than Will Campbell. Oh, here we go. Here we go with the arm length. But here's the thing. Gray Zabel would be an interior O-lineman. If you draft Gray Zabel, you're not asking him to be tackle. Gray Zabel is like Joe Thuney, right? Like Joe Thuney was a tackle, converted to an interior offensive lineman, a left guard more specifically for the Patriots, when they had taken him on. But he still gave them that versatility to where, hey, if their left tackle got injured in game and they didn't have their backup, Joe Thuney could play left tackle and do it at, in average, maybe slightly below average level. He did it at an adequate enough level to be able to get by if that's what the team needed. That's the same way that I see Gray Zabel. In the league, he's a guard. He's a center. He's an interior offensive lineman, but if you need him to play tackle in a pinch, he can definitely do so. Arm length, though, is stupid, okay? Will Campbell has 33-inch arms, people, okay? The Combine got so many numbers wrong. Like, this isn't my opinion. This is a fact. The Combine, there should be a lawsuit, honestly. Allegedly. I got to say the word allegedly, right? Like, I'm not saying there is, but I said there should be. But I'm going to add the word allegedly so I can't possibly get sued, right? But the Combine allegedly had several of their measurements come out incorrect, and Will Campbell was one of those. At his pro day, he measured in at 33-inch arms, and several players measured in differently. So No more about this talk on, oh, well, Will Campbell, 32-inch arms. It's never been done before. He's got 33-inch arms, people, okay? Who is it, Rashawn Slater? He's got like 33-inch arms, and he's perfectly fine. So Will Campbell can play tackle and be fine, okay? The arm length conversation cannot be had anymore. Trick comes back in here and says, go edge, then take Anthony Belton out of North Carolina State in the 3rd round. I don't mind Anthony Belton, but I think that this is a deeper edge class. Like, you're going to get a difference maker at edge in the 4th round. This is the best edge class that we've ever seen come out. This is the best defensive line class that we've ever seen come out of the NFL draft before. Like, this thing is so damn deep to where you don't have to take an edge in the first to get a difference maker. At tackle, this isn't a deep class to where if you really want that difference maker, I would get that guy, round 1 to round 2 at the latest. Me personally, if you want that start in plug and player, like not a developmental guy, but a guy that can be your starter day 1 at left tackle, you need to take that guy in the 1st or the 2nd. All right. Great point here too, by the way. Paper Wave says it's costing guys money, and it would 100% is. Honestly, it's making them look bad. It's costing them money. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we see like some type of case come out from this, because this is really screwing guys over. But let's get back to the mock here. For those who don't know, we traded back into the 1st. So we got Travis Hunter with the 1st pick, Josh Conerly with the 2nd, and we are really building up the trenches. Now, we'll see who's here offensively, but I also wouldn't mind. I really wouldn't mind at all going defensive here. Like, let's see who's at edge. Now, we could trade back in. I mean, we have a 3rd, 2 4ths, 2 5ths, and it's not letting me trade down, but we should still have our 3 7ths. So we could honestly trade back up into the 2nd. I wish it told me who was on the board still, but it doesn't. That's the one thing that sucks about this simulator. It doesn't tell me who's on the board still. Shador goes off. Trey Amos goes off. Derek Carmen goes off. Darius Alexander goes off. TJ Sanders. Xavier Watts. So we're at pick 45. Our next pick isn't until 69. I think it would make sense for the Patriots to try to trade back in. Let's trade with the Falcons, because I don't think they have a lot of picks. If I remember correctly, yeah. The Falcons don't have a lot of picks, so it would make sense that they would want to maybe get a few extra. Will you take 127? What are our picks? I got to remember. So will you guys take... Actually, here, I'll give you 106, and then will you take 171? No, they don't want that. They want 69. That's the problem. They also don't... Oh, they just don't want to trade. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. How about that? The Atlanta Falcons are simply just not interested in trading. So clearly there's somebody that they like on the board. Wow, all right, that kind of sucks. All right, whatever. Oh, of course, they wanted Jaden Higgins. Yeah, I mean, I'd want Jaden Higgins too. That'd make a crap ton of sense. But damn, dude, all right. I feel like trading down would have made a ton of sense for them. But let's keep it going. Oh, Jack Sawyer goes off the board right then and there. So 52, I think, would make some sense. Oh, I paused it too soon. All right, 52 would make sense. I think the Seahawks would like to trade down from 52 because they just picked at 50. But there's a lot of defensive linemen going off the board right now. I think if we want to get one, like one of these, day 1 difference makers, I think at 52, that would make a ton of sense. I don't think they don't need 69. Their next pick's 82. So what about 106? Wow, they don't like to talk, do they? Wow. That's crazy. So we would have to trade 69 and 106. So we'd have to trade our 3rd and our 4th, meaning that we wouldn't be picking again till 127. Ooh. Okay, I don't like that. I don't like that value. I'm not giving that up. Okay, we're resuming. I think we're just going to stay and pick, to be honest with you. Because we're staying and picking. Nobody wanted to trade with us. That's crazy. All right, so we're in the 3rd. We didn't make a 2nd round pick, which is totally fine. I think we have more than enough picks that, we'll we'll be okay. We can still have some difference makers. I do also want to trade and hopefully get some good picks for next year in a much better draft class. And, you don't have a second round pick, but like I said, you feel pretty confident about the 2 first round picks you made. You get those guys on 5th year options too. You feel pretty confident about what you did, to where I think Patriots fans would be okay if they didn't make a second round pick, if they make 2 first rounders. But, okay. So I wanted to go edge, but we got some good players on the board, my friends. Okay. Damn. All right. Offensively too. I think we have to go offense again. So I wanted to go defense because we made 2 offensive picks here, but we might have to go offense here again. Now let's see who's on, the edge board before we make any rash decisions. Wow, that's tough. That is tough because the edge class just fell off. Now, Rucker, I don't hate him out of North Carolina, but Oladejo is a guy that I like a little bit better. Now, we're obviously not going to take him at 69. That value is not good, but we'll talk about him a little later. That is the edge that I'm targeting for the Patriots. Although if we don't take him at 69, 106, maybe we can trade to pick 100, and hopefully that solidifies us being able to get Oladejo, because he's somebody that I would like a little bit later. Really one of the only edges, at least on the board right now, that I like. That's my favorite guy right now, still on the board. So let's look. So we got Andrew Makuba. And Andrew Makuba is a very, very underrated safety, in my opinion. He's really developed significantly on a year-to-year basis. I mean, you look at his first year in 2022, he looked like a guy that didn't even deserve to be on the field. Had an overall grade of, according to PFF, of 50.2. Then in 2023, starts to look like a pretty decent starter, 71.9 overall grade, and then has an elite season this past year of 90 overall. He's someone who honestly wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't on the board still, just because I think teams are going to start to value him more and more. 6 foot, 190 pounds. Trying to see where he plays. So he also plays deep. The Patriots, damn. So I was thinking about going Quinshawn Judkins here. I love Judkins. I actually like him a little bit more than Travion Henderson, which I know a lot of people are going to tell me I'm wild in the comment section. I just think that Judkins is a little bit more raw, and I see the ceiling being a little bit higher than Travion Henderson. That's just my own personal opinion. Judkins can put a shoulder down, run through a brick wall, but has a little bit more speed. Henderson is that guy who has that breakaway speed. He's going to be faster than Judkins, but, isn't really a guy that's going to carry a load on top of his back. He's not going to put a shoulder down and run through a brick wall. I think that Judkins can turn into an every down back, but the Patriots might not view running back this highly. I think 3rd round is the soonest that they'll go. But they want that speed guy. They want that guy who's going to be able to catch passes out of the backfield, that 3rd down back, that kind of James White. So I think that's kind of an area that they're going to go to a little bit later on. I'm looking at Andrew Makuba, and I look at the Patriots safeties right now, and some people might say that they're stacked there. But honestly, if Kyle Duggar does not pop off this season, Kyle Duggar, I think, needs to be shipped away. Honestly, if he doesn't look good in the first few weeks in Mike Vrabel and Terrell Williams' defense, I think they should trade him at the trade deadline. Kyle Duggar has the 2nd highest cap number amongst Patriots players this upcoming season, only behind Michael Onwenu. Duggar's also one of the highest paid safeties in the league, and he really has not looked good since that 2022 season. You also got Jabril Peppers with some question marks around him, so you draft Makuba, you're looking towards the future, but also with Makuba, you're getting a guy who he can play box, right? But he's mainly going to be a deep guy, and the Patriots don't have that. Right now, they're going between, make sure I get these names right, a lot of new names for the Patriots this offseason, but right now it's more between Marcus Epps and Jalen Hawkins battling for that free safety role, both of which are guys that are just average at best. So with that being said, I think you get Andrew Makuba and you have your next free safety for your franchise that they haven't had since Devin McCourty. And you look at the last couple of seasons, in Devin McCourty's absence, they've had a lot of plays break in the back end of that secondary. They've allowed a lot of splash plays because there's a lot of miscommunication there. So with that being said, I'm going to go Andrew Makuba here. I think a guy that a lot of people don't know. This is good value, though. Gives the Patriots their next free safety. We already went offense for the first 2 picks in the first round. I don't think they're going to wait till the 5th round to go defense either. So I'm going to go Andrew Makuba here. I thought about going Jalen Royals, thought about Kyle Williams, thought about Quinshawn Judkins. Tate Ratledge, is more of a right guard, so I don't think he makes a ton of sense for the Patriots, but I think Makuba makes the most sense in terms of best player available, but also in terms of what the Patriots need still are left on the board. If we hadn't gone Travis Hunter, I would have went with Jalen Royals. But like I said, I do. Oh, Quinshawn Judkins goes to the Jets in the 3rd. Oh, damn, that'd be scary, man. That'd be scary. But like I said, there is someone who I do want to trade for. Well, let's see how the board falls. Let me slow it down. Let me slow this down. I don't want to miss my opportunity. Ozzie Trapillo off the board too, so no double dipping there at tackle. Mason Taylor off the board. RJ Harvey, Trey Harris, Jalen Knoll, Jackson Dart, Jalen Royals. Ooh. Okay, so I think if we can trade here, because our next pick is what, 106? He could be there. He also might not. So I don't care trading up a little bit more to where some might project him, especially because of how this board has gone so far. A lot of defensive linemen are flying off here. So I want to make sure we solidify getting an edge rusher that makes sense in this system and a guy that, we feel pretty good about his future moving forward. I think edge is an underrated need for the Patriots. So we can get him here. That'll make a ton of sense. I'm going to make sure he didn't go. I don't think he went. He shouldn't have. Okay, yeah, he didn't go. So my phone's blowing up. I don't do not disturb. So we're going to go 91. We'll give them 106. This is crazy. About to say, like, they don't want anything. Okay, so 106 and 144. I don't love the idea of giving up 127. I don't love that. But they're not going to accept that. So we'd be picking at 91. Next pick would be 144. I think the Patriots wouldn't love that gap. Could we add a 7th on top? Okay, so we can add a 7th on top. Let's see if they would accept it. We'd be giving up 106, 144, and 238 to get 91. Let's offer it. Okay, they accepted it. I don't hate that. Looking at the Patriots' updated picks here, we got a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and then a 7th. So I don't hate this, right? The Patriots at this point are just trying to get quality players. Not maybe necessarily a draft where they're getting a ton of players, but more so a draft where we're coming away with guys that we feel pretty much each of these guys could be home run hitters. But we're going to go to edge here. We're going to address the defense a little bit more. And we're going to go with, I can't say his first name, so I only say his last name, Aladejo out of UCLA there with the Bruins. This is a guy who some people are going to look at his numbers from college and not necessarily love him, especially this early on. But this is a guy who has upside as a pass rusher. I think he's a little bit raw. He's still developing in that aspect, but he's going to be a really, really good run stopper. Also a guy that if he goes to the right situation that develops him a little bit more, he is going to be an every down defensive lineman, has really good size and really good length. He's 6'3", 250. Do they have his like span on here? Yeah, here. He's very athletic, but also has 33 and 3/8 inch arms. Look up a picture of Aladejo, my friends, because this guy is big. He's tall. He is long. He fits like that mold that I think Mike Vrabel would like in his defensive lineman, along with Terrell Williams, a guy who really showed out at the Senior Bowl. Had some questions on how he was going to perform against some more top-tier offensive linemen, and he performed against some of the best of them, Josh Conerly being one of them, and did a really, really good job. So this is a guy that I think makes a ton of sense in this system. The Patriots need an edge rusher, and they're going to fulfill that here with Aladejo, a guy we haven't mocked to the Patriots before, so I don't hate that. Landon Jackson already went, by the way. I love Landon Jackson. I think he makes a ton of sense for the system too, but I think we drafted him like twice before. All right. I guess we could speed this up a little bit. There's no reason to be taking forever. I don't really think we need to trade up anymore, honestly. I think we traded up a lot. If anything, we're going to trade back. Oh, Gunnar Helm goes right before the Patriots. Damn it. Ah, crap, dude. Gunnar Helm would have been a guy I really, really liked here. Jaden Blue, the Patriots met with him. He ran like a 4.3 40-yard dash. It was the fastest among running backs. So if they want that speed that, Robert Kraft wants, that would make a ton of sense. Kyle Williams is still on the board. How about that? Tesla is still here too. Patriots reportedly have interest in him. He's more of like that outside X guy. He's going to stretch the field vertically. He has some special teams experience also. Don't love him in the fourth, though, especially, with where the receiving core is at. If he fell to like the 5th, 6th round, okay, I'd consider it. Made some really good grabs in contested catch situations at the Senior Bowl also, which I thought was pretty impressive. But let's see. Let's see running back. Let's see who's on the board still. So ETN is on the board. Tootin's still on the board. I wish they put the 40 times for these guys, to be honest with you. Marcus Yarns, we could get a little bit later. Kyle Manungai still on the board also. They have the 40 times. That'd be great if they don't have the 40 times. What did Marcus Yarns run? Dude, what did I'm forgetting what Marcus Yarns ran for his 40 time. I got to look this up real quick. So, Marcus Yarns 40 time. He ran a 4.45, and then who was it? Kyle Nungai 40 time. I've done so many prospects that I can't remember all these 40 times. He ran like a 4.6. So if anything, I'd be more of a Marcus Yarns guy, a guy who has, some speed to him, has that receiving upside. That's a little bit later, though. I've taken Trevor Etienne before, but I'm considering taking him here again just because I think he makes a ton of sense for what the Patriots need. He has that receiving upside. He's raw. Trevor Etienne was also at the Senior Bowl, and he showed real potential as a receiver that I don't think anybody was expecting. So his potential and upside as a receiving threat, along with his speed, I think would make a ton of sense for the Patriots. And I'm debating on taking him because I don't think he's going to be there at 171. But let's see who else is on the board before we do that. Just to recap our picks here so far, we got 3 more picks to be made. We got Travis Hunter, Josh Conerly, Andrew Makuba, and then Aladejo. So we went offense, and then defense. We could also potentially trade down here. If we want to get some more picks, who do we have? We have the 49ers calling at 138. We could get ETN at that point. Seth McLaughlin, if you want your center, but he's not going to start for you this year because he's coming off of an injury. We've also drafted him before, so I don't want to get too redundant. Honestly, see who's here at tight end. No one I love here at tight end. Also, honestly, let's trade down and then try to get Trevor Etienne because I'm looking at the Patriots draft right now. They don't have a 6th-round pick. I don't think the Patriots want to go round 4, round 5, and then, you're going from pick 171 to 220. I think they'd want to fill in that gap between rounds 5 and 7. So let's see who's calling. So we have, like I said, we have the 49ers calling. And so we would give them 127. They would give us 138 and 160. No, they're not going to want that. 227. 227, though. Isn't that not a 7th-round pick, though? I believe that's a 7th-rounder. But that's okay, because we could still trade up at that point. Get another one, too? Oh, we could get 2 7s. Wow, but they really don't want to give us 160? Are you serious? Wow. Okay. So they're going to give us 2 7s. So the Patriots are going to trade down from 127. They're going to go to 138. And they're going to get, I believe this is 2 7s, if my math is correct. With that being said, the Patriots will have more than enough draft picks to be able to trade up into the second and kind of fulfill that gap there a little bit, make it shrink. So let's offer this trade. Okay, perfect. And they accept it. So updating our picks here. Wow, Patriots have a lot of 7th-round picks here. So the Patriots would still have picks 4 in round 4, 5, and then 7, 7, 7. We'll resume this. All right, and the Patriots are back on the clock. So this was the final pick in the 4th round. And now we're going to go Trevor Etienne. Now, Etienne is projected to be more of a 5th-round pick. I don't think he's going to be there by the Patriots' next pick. So you want to make sure that you make sure that you get your guy. We've drafted Trevor Etienne in the past. He is the brother of Travis Etienne, who was drafted by the Jags in the 1st round a few years ago. Think of him with a guy who's more elusive, a guy with more speed. He's not going to necessarily be the starting running back for you. He's not going to be the future, but you have Antonio Gibson, you have Ramondre Stevenson. What the Patriots are looking for is that final piece of the running back core. They're not looking for a starter. They're looking for a guy who's going to be a depth guy, a change of pace guy, and gives them that receiving upside. And that's exactly what Trevor Etienne is. And I think that, this core starts to become a little bit more reminiscent of what Josh McDaniels had, back in the day. Sony Michel, Rex Burkhead, James White, those different change of pace backs, depending on what the situation or depending on what the opponent called for. So Trevor Etienne, I don't like to repeat a lot of players, but I think this just makes a ton of sense given the Patriots situation and just how the board has fallen. All right, and we'll stay and we'll pick with our 5th rounder. It's going to be pick 171. All righty. And let's see who's still on the board. Ty Felton. Maybe if the Patriots want to go quarterback, maybe they go like Quinn Ewers, but I think the 6th round is realistically the soonest they go. Dante Thornton is here. I know a lot of you Patriots fans. I know a lot of you guys really like Dante Thornton, that, outside X guy who just has a bunch of speed, 6'5", 214. I believe he has some contested catch upside too. Yeah, 75% contested catch rate. So maybe if you want to double down at receiver, you want to get a different type of guy. But we did also get, we also got Travis Hunter, who could also fulfill that role and be perfectly fine. Did my guy go off the board? My guy go? No way. Hold up. No. Don't tell me he was taken. Don't tell me. Son of a gun. Son of a damn gun, he was taken off of the board. Damn, I was really actually hoping to get him here in the 5th round. Where did he go? What? Benjamin Yorsek. Yeah, so for those who don't know, Benjamin Yorsek, I've been tweeting about him. I've been talking about him, talked about him in my last video. Was really hoping to make him a part of the draft here. He's a projected 5th rounder, and yeah, he did go in the 5th round technically, but goes to the Bengals, a guy that is more of a tight end too. If he goes to the right situation, maybe he could be unlocked as a tight end 1, but I see more of a tight end 2. A guy that can block, a guy that has receiving upside, can line up all over the offensive formation, can play some fullback. So that's a guy that Patriots fans should keep their eye out for, tight end Benjamin Yorsek out of Georgia. But ultimately, he went already, so we can't go that direction. We went tackle, safety, edge, running back. So maybe we can look at the O-line again. Ty Robinson. Not really loving anybody here. Maybe we go like Tyler Cooper. Tyler Cooper, left guard. Yeah, Tyler Cooper's a left guard, so maybe that's where the Patriots go. But we'll see who else is still on the board. Yeah, I'm thinking honestly that's where the Patriots go here. Where'd he go? I'm thinking the Patriots go Tyler Cooper here. I know scroll down here, we're at 171, so this is about the range that realistically he should go. You're not relying on Tyler Cooper to be your starting left guard, but a guy who's shown some potential. You're hoping that he's a little bit of a diamond in the rough. Once round 4 comes along, you're really taking shots, right? Like round 4 is where you're like, okay, I'm not expecting you to be a starter, but you got some upside, you got some intangibles that I like, so I'm going to take a chance on you. Here on round 5, that's exactly what you're doing with Tyler Cooper. Guys, I know, how many offensive linemen have they taken in the last 2 drafts, but this is a new system, right? Like when Belichick drafted in 2023, it was a different system than it is now. Gerard Mayo's system last year, a different system. The system we have right now, it's a different system. There's been 3 different systems here in the last 3 years, and there's been a lot of interior O-line taken. but they haven't had that solidified yet. And Mike Vrabel might say, hey, we have a lot of guys, but those aren't guys that I personally drafted. Cooper here, this is going to be a guy that has experience, a little bit at left tackle, but he's more of an interior O-lineman. Most experience comes in at left guard, but also has some experience over at right guard, a little bit of experience over at right tackle. 6'6", 310 pounds. You hope that he can take over to be your starting left guard. He's mainly going to be a zone offensive lineman, which is exactly what the Patriots are going to run, but he also does play well in gap also, so a pretty versatile guy here for the most part. I like the potential upside that we have here with Tyler Cooper, so that's where we're going to go. Again, try to solidify that offensive line as best as you possibly can, and like I said, if I remember correctly, we have 3 7th-rounders, so we ideally want to trade up back into the 6th. I don't know exactly who we're trading for, because I don't know who's still left on the board because it doesn't allow me to see. Someone's got to tell PFF, man, right? Like maybe if we all collectively come together and sign a petition for them to keep the names on the board so that I could see who I'm looking to trade back in for, then maybe they'll do it. But PFF, that's probably the only flaw you guys got left. The only flaw you guys got left. And man, shout out to my boy Richie from the AFC East Roundtable, a Bills fan. Comes in with a $2 donation and says, Colby, my boy, it's been a minute. What's good? Richie, where you been, man? Feel like I haven't seen you on the AFC East Roundtable in a minute. I'm on 4th and Forever, filling in for Richie yesterday, today, and then Monday through Friday next week. I'm also filling in for Richie. Roundtable Sports, it's their everyday NFL show. They fill you in with every single NFL topic that's recently going around the league. Like today, we talked about how the refereeing could be better. We talked about Bill Belichick saying that they shouldn't have drafted Sony Michel, that they should have drafted Lamar Jackson. So, Richie, man, better see you on 4th and Forever come Monday. But my guy, appreciate the donation, man. Supports me significantly. But like I said, I do want to trade into the 6 just because there's not necessarily someone I'm targeting here, but I don't think the Patriots are going to want to wait to go from 171 to 220. Teams usually don't like to wait to pick that long. So I'm just trying to think realistically what the team would do. And I think they would want to shrink that gap. So let's see. Who do we realistically want to trade with? I'm trying to think of the ties that they have. Maybe they trade with the Titans right now. Maybe the Browns. I think the Browns would make a ton of sense. Just given the connection the Patriots have. So let's trade in at 200. And we'll give them one of our 7th round picks here. Let's resume. Damn, how many 6th round picks do they have? Oh, we got to slow this thing down. We got to slow this thing down. All right. Oh, did I miss it? Oh no, it's still coming. Whew, I was about to say that's embarrassing. Just did this whole spiel and I just missed it. Let's go. So you give me 200. I'll give you 220 and 249. I'll give you 227. Damn. So I would have to give them all of my remaining draft picks. Yeah, nah. Well, guys, that's just ultimately not how the board fell. So in order to trade up here, the Patriots would have to give up literally every single one of their remaining draft picks. So I don't like that. We're not going to do that. We're going to resume. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. All right, let's see who's on the board. So we're up here in the 7th. There's one guy. I don't know if I've taken him here before. But I'm going to take him now. I do ideally want to get a tight end. Now, maybe we could wait till next pick. Is there anybody that I'm seeing here that I'm like, I have to get this guy? Jay Higgins, we've drafted him before. He's an Iowa linebacker that I think would make a ton of sense in Vrabel's defense, a guy who can set the edge and stop the run. Exactly what they're looking for, but we've drafted him before. I don't want to be redundant. Who was it? Was it Trey? Was this you that put me on to Luke Lakey, whatever it is, from Iowa, who I wasn't very high on? My last video, someone tried to put me on to him, and I was like, just not big on him. I actually think that's exactly the direction I'm going to go. I would say we could go like Joshua Gray, but honestly, like with the last pick we just made, with Tyler Cooper, I think that would be a little bit redundant. At this point, you're not really caring about value. It's the 7th round. You're just essentially taking a shot on a player that you want to own the rights to and not have to compete for as a priority UDFA. So let's go with Bryson Nesbitt. I don't know if I've drafted him here before, but Bryson Nesbitt is a guy that he's been on my radar for a year now. I knew about him even before the start of the 2024 NFL draft because I was like, oh, shoot, is Bryson Nesbitt coming out this year? And I was like, oh, crap, no, he's coming out next year. Because I was like, that would be such a good pair. You draft Drake Maye in the first round last year. Later on, you get Bryson Nesbitt, pair him up. But now he came out a year later. Nesbitt is a guy that you're not projecting to be the future for you. You're just kind of hoping you get something from him, even if it is at tight end 2. If he becomes your tight end 2 in the future, I think you feel really, really good about the pick in the 7th round. Not much of a blocker really at all. He's a receiving threat. Honestly, I wonder if they utilize him more as a wide receiver than they do a true tight end. I don't remember what his 40 time was, but he's 6'5", 235. It's going to be pretty obvious what the offense is trying to run when he is on the field. He performed really, really well with Drake Maye. Drake Maye leaves this past season, and then with North Carolina, he took a big, big step back. With Drake Maye's first year starting with North Carolina in 2022, he put up a total of 507 yards, averaging 14.5 yards on average and 4 receiving touchdowns. Then in 2023 with Drake Maye, Maye's final year, he put up 585 yards, 14.3 yards on average and 5 receiving touchdowns. And then this past year without Drake Maye, he went all the way down to 264 receiving yards, 11 yards per reception, and 3 receiving touchdowns. So again, a guy who's going to give you some upside as an inline tight end, can put him all over the offensive formation, line him up as a wide receiver, and again, has that connection with Drake Maye. That's the reason you're drafting him and hoping that you just hit on some type of diamond in the rough. The Patriots do have a need at tight end, not immediate need, but they have a need moving on into the future, and you just kind of hope that Bryson Nesbitt can be that receiving threat for you at tight end. All right, let's see. Oh, is our pick up already? Wow. Damn, that really is a turbo. So I think we have 2 more picks remaining if I'm correct. Yes, we do. We have 227 and 249 remaining. I would love to get some depth at cornerback. Honestly, maybe we'll look at that right now. I'm not really too familiar with Frazier. How tall is he? Oh, 6'3", 185. Burst onto the scenes this past year. Fits the exact mold that I like in my players. He's somebody that's gotten better each and every single year. You guys know, like that's my philosophy. I think that's something that you guys can feel confident. Like when you hear this, you're like, oh, I remember Colby from Patriots Global said that, to where I really like players that have improved every single year as they transition to the NFL. I've said it a billion times. I'll say it again. I feel like those guys that get better every single year, they show me that they can take the coaching, that they are on an upward trajectory, that they are a player that coming onto my team, I feel confident that my coaching staff can get the best out of, because this is a guy that, like I said, knows how to take coaching. And it looks like Frazier is exactly that type of guy. Only allowed a 47.4% completion percentage this past season. Only thing I don't love about him is that he's more of a zone cornerback. It looks like the Patriots sound like they're still going to run priority man here. Didn't perform as well in man coverage, a little bit below average, overall grade of 60.5, but is really good against the run, 82.1 overall run defensive grade. So, maybe he's someone they play more in zone situations. Maybe if they're playing a game where they have to run a little bit more zone, he's someone who gets more snaps. As a 7th round pick, again, you're just trying to find a diamond in the rough, but he does fit the mold of a guy who does play really good against the run, which we know Mike Vrabel wants from every single one of his defenders, but especially from his guys in the secondary as kind of that last line of defense. And at 6'3", 185, you want him to put on maybe just a little bit more weight, but you're getting a guy with size, which the Patriots could always use there. So I like this pick. I actually didn't know about him before today, but I know about him now. I got to look into him a little bit more, but he might end up being a my guy, like a diamond in the rough, lay steal my guy. But I also want to go kicker here. Where's kicker? Oh, it's at special teams. So I don't know if he's going to be here just because a lot of teams need kicker, especially quality kicker. So he might actually end up going sooner than the 7th, and it wouldn't surprise me. But if he is here, Ryan Fitzgerald, he's expected to be the best kicker in this draft class. This is a guy that the Patriots just met with. And actually, I want to make sure I get this stat correct. I believe I screenshotted this when I saw it. So So I got this from, it was on Twitter, Justin M _ NFL. He said, kicker Ryan Fitzgerald went a perfect 13 for 13 this past season, arguably the top kicker in the 2025 NFL draft. He had a private workout with the Patriots, Ravens, and Commanders. So makes a ton of sense. Patriots, again, had that private meeting with him. He had a perfect kicking season this past year. Andreas Borregales is also another kicker out of Miami the Patriots have had reported interest in. So I think they will draft a kicker. Parker Romo is very, very raw. He's not someone you should feel confident rolling in with next season. It was also reported that the Patriots do want to have a competition at kicker this offseason. So whether it's as a UDFA, whether it's one of the final picks in the draft, the Patriots are going to bring in a kicker. And I think it's either going to be Ryan Fitzgerald or it's going to be Andreas Borregales. But we have drafted Borregales in the past. So here I'm going to go with Ryan Fitzgerald. And that should wrap us up here. Never look at the grades, my friends. Never actually, you know what? They loved my grades. Everyone look at the grades. Now, we're not going to look at the grades because it's probably going to be worse as it goes on. And never listen to PFF grades. It's very much dependent on how you draft dependent on their board. So I never like to look at them. I just like to look at the actual moves we made here. So to kind of wrap up what we did in this draft for those who weren't able to tune in for the entire thing, Round 1, Travis Hunter fell to the Patriots at 4. Again, I'm not expecting him to, but you really don't know what teams are going to do, right? So it's the draft. Anything can happen. The Patriots are at 4. They're not picking, at 28. It's not like I'm saying Travis Hunter's going to fall to 28. There is a world in which he could fall to 4. Obviously, we went best player available here. Helps the Patriots on offense, helps the Patriots on defense. Then we made a trade, and we traded back into the first round. The Patriots got pick 126 and a 4th-round draft pick from the Rams, and in return, we gave them a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick. We ended up drafting Josh Conerly at pick 26. We didn't have a 2nd-round pick. We tried to trade back in, but unfortunately, it didn't really seem like anybody wanted to trade with us. So that was okay. We picked in the 3rd round safety Andrew Makuba, one of the best value picks, I think, in this entire draft. Highly slept upon. A guy who's gotten better every single year, played elite football this past year for Texas. A guy who can give the Patriots an insurance policy behind Jabril Peppers, Kyle Duggar, maybe even move on from one of those guys if they want to. But Makuba's going to be more of a free safety. That's exactly what the Patriots need right now. Even if you keep Peppers, even if you keep Duggar, you do still need a starting free safety. Marcus Epps and Jalen Hawkins, both guys who are very, very average at best. I think Makuba immediately comes in and is your starting free safety. A big, big under-the-radar need for the Patriots over the last couple years since Devin McCourty retired. So a big fan of that one. Then the Patriots made another trade here. The Patriots received a 3rd-round pick, and in return, gave the Ravens a 4th-rounder, a 5th-rounder, and a 7th-rounder. That was so that we could get arguably the best edge defender left on the board in Aladejo coming out of UCLA. Big guy, large, has a lot of length, is the type of guy that Mike Vrabel is going to love. Good as a run defender, not bad getting to the quarterback also, but is putting it together. I'm more so drafting him off of what I saw from his development 3 days at the Senior Bowl when he was really, really good as a pass rusher. Moving on here, then, the Patriots traded down. They traded with the 49ers. The 49ers got Patriots' 4th-round pick, and in return, the Patriots got a 4th-rounder and then 2 7th-rounders. With that Patriots' 4th-round pick that they got from the 49ers, they got running back Trevor Etienne out of Georgia. This is a guy who isn't really expected to be a starter for you, but he's going to be that rotational guy that we know that Josh McDaniels loves in his system, a change of pace guy. He's bringing some speed. He's more elusive. He showed that he has that receiving upside in the Senior Bowl. So again, guy who has some of that untapped potential, makes a lot of sense for what the Patriots are looking for at running back. Moving on here to the 5th round, the Patriots went guard Tyler Cooper out of Minnesota, just taking a chance on a guy on the interior of the offensive line. They do still need a starting left guard. That's exactly where Tyler Cooper could fill in, but also has some experience at right guard, played a few snaps at left tackle and right tackle too. So really just experience all over the offensive line. Try to trade back into the 6. Unfortunately, nobody wanted to trade with us. We would have had to give up all of our remaining picks, and we didn't want to do that. So we just said, no 6th-round pick. We're going to wait till the 7th. We get tight end Bryson Nesbitt. Some might say the Patriots will want to go tight end sooner. Maybe they do. There's some good tight ends in this class. I wouldn't say it's a great tight end class, but there are some good tight ends here. But they go Bryson Nesbitt out of North Carolina, a guy that showed some potential as a receiving tight end, not a blocking tight end, but a receiving tight end at 6'4", 6'5", that you hope this is just a diamond in the rough. pair him back up with Drake Maye, and hopefully he can be your future tight end too. And then in round 7, we just took a shot on a cornerback here in Za Frazier, a guy who's more of a zone cornerback than a man cornerback, but he's 6'3", really good against the run. Just hoping that you find a diamond in the rough there that could be your cornerback 3 at least. And then in round 7 here, our final pick, we went kicker Ryan Fitzgerald, a guy who went a perfect 13 for 13 this past season and is also meeting with the Patriots in a private workout. So maybe a little bit of some inside news there. But hey, give us the grades you got. Hey, man. Because here's the thing. I would show you guys the grades. I don't care about the grades like personally, but I know that there's a lot of people who believe that PFF is like the gods. And by the way, no hate to PFF. Love the guys at PFF. Love what they do. I always pay for a subscription every single year. So if I didn't like them, I wouldn't be giving them my money every single year. They aren't cheap. But I think some people believe that they're like the God Almighty when it comes to football. And they're like, hey, well, I'm just saying, I got Abdul Carter at 15th overall. So, Colby, I'm just saying, the Patriots can get him at 4. It's like, no, sometimes their simulator's just a little bit too messed up. And sometimes they make mistakes. And, people are going to look at those grades and be like, dude, what do you mean? Trevor Etienne? They just said that's an F pick. That's a terrible pick. What are you doing? It's like, no, Trevor Etienne late in the 4th. That's a pretty damn good pick. Maybe a little bit early. That's a damn good pick in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think about the draft in the comment section below. You're riding with it or you're throwing it away. Would love to hear from you. We want to get into the remainder of these super chats before we log off. My boy Richie comes back in here with a $5 donation. Says, you guys better come to Buffalo next year. No excuses. The only excuse is it still the same stadium, right? Because that stadium's not going to be built for next year. I'll come to Buffalo when the new stadium's built. That's my promise to you. But no, like real talk, the AFC East Roundtable is hoping to do an event at all 4 places, right? New York, Miami, Buffalo, Boston. That is the goal, but ultimately we'll see as we get a little bit closer to these events what's going to be realistic versus what's not. But hey, Richie, man, you got to pop out to one of these AFC East Roundtable events, my guy, because we would absolutely love to meet you, talk about some football, my man. Trey comes in here again with a $2 donation and says, give us the grades you got. I know I just said this one, but I think it's still funny, man. You know what? For you, I'll do it. I'll show you how much PFF hated my mock draft. Actually, they didn't hate it. They hated the Aladejo pick. Well, you know what, PFF? I know you didn't like the value. I didn't love the value. The defensive linemen were flying off the board, okay? I didn't want to wait and get nobody. They didn't like the Nesbitt pick, which I don't really understand. We got him in the 7th. They didn't like the Frazier pick either, which I don't really understand. And then they didn't like the Fitzgerald pick either, which I really don't understand that. But they said I was a bottom 25% of the Patriots drafts. Overall grade was a B-. I do not agree with that. I think this was a pretty solid draft. I would give this like a B+. I would give this a B+ if I was the Patriots. If this was their draft, I'm not saying it's the best case scenario, but it's certainly not the worst case scenario. You feel pretty good. They filled a significant amount of holes offensively, defensively. You got your future wide receiver. You got your future left tackle. You finally filled that free safety role on the defensive side of the football. You got a developmental edge rusher. You got your change of pace running back. Damn it, I hit all of the holes the Patriots had. I deserve an A. All right, guys, that's my bad. I'm letting out on you guys a little bit. Trey comes back in here with a $5 donation, my boy. You said, the moment PFF omitted Gonzo, omitted Gonzo from the top 100 players this past season, they lost all credibility, so I don't blame you. Yeah, dude, so for those who don't know, basically like the top 100 players PFF puts out at the end of the season, and they didn't have Christian Gonzalez in it. Gonzo saw it. Do I actually have it? I might have the picture still. I meant to post it on Twitter, and then I totally forgot. I also might not have it, so let me see. Damn it, I thought I had it. Has to be around here somewhere. I don't know where I put it, but I got to be a screenshot I have in my camera roll somewhere. But basically, Christian Gonzalez saw that and put on his Instagram like a picture of it, and then he just said like LOL. So he said, and then after that he said like more motivation. So it might suck even for us and him that Christian Gonzalez is not getting the recognition he deserves league-wide, but he's using it as motivation. And if you're telling me that Christian Gonzalez is still motivated and he's going to be better next year than he was last year and the year prior before his injury, I will take it. I will always take Christian Gonzalez getting better and better, which I don't even think there was a level for him to get better, but apparently there still is. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Hey, but guys, make sure you also consider becoming a member of the channel. It's only $4 a month. You get some exclusive benefits. If you are interested, supports me, supports the channel. Like I said, you get benefits from it too. Hit that join button. Now, for those who are on iPhone, using like the mobile app on your iPhone, it might not work. I think it only works if you're on like Safari or if you're on Google or if you're doing it on a laptop. So consider doing on one of those if you want to become a member. Again, you get some benefits and it supports the channel. Want to give a massive shout out again to everybody who donated today. You guys have helped the channel out significantly. Trey, Richie, Felipe, McGoat, all of you who donated help support me tremendously. I appreciate you guys. If you guys are like, hey, I want to support the channel, but unfortunately I don't have the money to donate, I get it. That's 100% okay. The world is in a tough place right now. I feel like it always is, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. Make sure you guys leave a big like on the video. That helps support the channel tremendously, and it's completely free. Of course, subscribing to the channel for all your New England Patriots news, thoughts, reactions, and breakdowns. As always, the draft is right around the bend. We got more mock drafts. We got more videos coming up. And like we do every single year, we will be doing the Patriots Global annual live watch party for day one of the draft. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Get ready. It's going to be a really, really good time. If you guys are on Twitter watching this, make sure you consider coming over to YouTube and subscribing, because my Twitter folks, I appreciate you guys for following, but you are only getting notified when I do a live stream. I post a lot of other content. I post shorts. I post community posts. I post regular videos, all of which is content you guys are not knowing of. So if you are on Twitter, I appreciate you for watching. Come on over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and check out the other content that we have on the channel. As always, though, I love you guys. I appreciate you so much for rocking with me on this Friday night. And of course, as always, go Pats.